Welcome back. Welcome back. Another game recap. We've done all 3 days prior to this in one video. So if you want to go check those out, what we had to say on those games, go check that out. But here talking about Dallas versus the Clippers. Really low scoring game. Not what people really expected coming into this series, but it's what we kind of expected. We expected these guys to match up with each other pretty well. They have similar teams overall. And we expected the Stars to ball, and they have been through 2 games. And it just has been a great series. I'm excited. 1-1 going back to Dallas. Were your thoughts on this game?
I'm lost on who's gonna. I have no clue what's gonna happen in this series. Like I was pretty confident in the Mavs before the series started. That first game, it's honestly gonna come down to Kawhi. Like if he's gonna be that version of himself. I know last night the Clippers missed a lot of shots that they can make, whether it's like a contested PG3 or a couple middies that Kawhi missed. So they're definitely getting the shots that they have gotten all year and have gone in. But I don't know, man. The Mavs looked good last night. The dump dunks were back. The Luka ISOs were back. Kyrie was in the right spot, scoring at the right time. Like that's more what I thought game 1 was going to look like. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no. I think the biggest thing for me is I always thought this series is going to be close and the games were going to come down to the closing 5 minutes within 3 to 6 points and what team can execute better down the stretch. And game 1 kind of shocked me. I mean, the Clippers just simply didn't miss. They shot 50% from 3. So like
they were in the 20s last night now.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't do like the 2 extremes is tough, but like I expected these games to look a little bit like this, probably a little bit better shooting from the floor for both teams, but just overall, the Mavs just I think have a better closing lineup and closers. The Clippers to me are still a little bit in between whether they want to go small or big, while the Mavs I feel like just go small and they put Maxi Kleba at the 5 and let this floor be spaced for Luka and Kyrie to do their thing. So when you can play 5 out, we saw it multiple times down the stretch. Luka would go, get doubled, swing, PJ Washington 3, Maxi Kleba 3. And it's up to those guys to hit those shots, and that's what Ty Lue wants. He wants those guys trying to hit those shots late in games, which is tough, and especially on the road. But they hit him last night. PJ Washington had a great game. I know a lot of people that aren't like Mavericks fans hate on PJ Washington. We've always thought that he's been great for them. Like 18-6 is perfect, and 3 for 4 from 3. Like those are the shots and percentages that you want from a role player, especially on the road. And his could be first playoff series, yeah, because he was on the Hornets his whole career. So yeah, first playoff series. But I just thought that their defense overall on the perimeter was really, really good. Like they were forcing the Clippers into a lot of tough shots. Like Paul George and Kawhi did not have easy looks today.
But they make those.
They do, but it's tough to consistently do it.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though, is that you got to make those because that's kind of all you're going to get, or at least that's what it looked like last night. And offensively, you're right. Their flow looked totally different. They looked like they were back to normal. Obviously, they only won by 3. Bad Kawhi game, bad Paul George game. I think they both had under 20.
No.
I don't have the stats in front
Paul
of me.
George had 22, but not nearly as good of a game as I thought in game 1. He had under 20 until that last 3 at the buzzer from basically half court. But
so you're taking the right steps if you're the Mavs, like you're doing the right things, like the little brick by brick pieces. But like you said, like your role players have to step up and make shots. But even with that, your role players made shots in game 1 and you lost. So everything
not as
we kind of did.
Not enough that you would be happy with, though.
But everything needs to be clicking at once. And they're like a well-oiled machine. Like a part breaks, the car breaks down. So like last night, I thought the bigs were great too last night.
Yeah, I thought Lively played a really good game. I thought Gafford has been bad so far, way worse than I anticipated. I thought Zubats has killed him. I thought Lively has played really good though.
He played especially for Zubats had 12 boards too. He's in there doing his thing. I like Zubats' game. It's low key.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the Clippers have found that you can dominate this Mavs team inside a little bit, even with the bigs. You can go and get to the hoop when you want, and they just didn't do it enough to me in game 2. They just shot a lot of middies and threes that were fine looks, but still, I think you can get to the rim on these guys. Like Zubats was killing in both games, really. I mean, he missed a couple last night that he normally makes, but still, I just thought the inside presence for the Clippers wasn't as prominent, which created so many more open looks from three in game one. And I feel like this shot just got a little tougher. Derek Jones Jr., I thought was tremendous on defense. I thought just being switching between their best players all night. I thought he was great. 10 and 7 is just perfect. And he was just attacking the rim at will. Like there was a time he almost dunked on his own guy. Like
Yeah, he
Derek
was slashing.
like those are the kind of plays that the Mavs need. And I mean, when you have Luka and Kyrie doing their thing, they didn't even shoot great from the floor. They were being forced into a lot of tough shots, but still, there was a couple bunnies. Like PJ Washington missed an easy lob lay. Like there was just a couple things that the Mavs left on the table. They still ended up getting the win, but I just think that the Mavericks are a better team. I just don't really trust the Clippers, to be honest, personally. It's still the series still does confuse me. I was all in on the Mavs. I thought they were going to win game one, lose game two. It flip flopped. It's tough to win three in a row, especially against a team like the Clippers. But as long as you handle your business at home, you're in the driver's seat, no doubt.
I mean, I was crazy high on the Mavs before the series started.
I still think they're going to the conference finals. Like
I still am crazy high on them, but just the first half of game one, like I don't know. I have no clue who's going to win the series. It's probably the most up in the air for me out of all of them.
Yeah, and it's also been weird. Like Tim Hardaway Jr. hasn't played. Maybe I just wasn't watching a ton of Mavericks pre-playoffs and he wasn't playing. But I know he came up a little gimpy on one of his shots, but like he just hasn't been playing. I don't know. It's a little odd to me. I thought he's been good for them this season, but like Maxi Kleber balled out. I actually just think he stinks generally. Like I just don't.
I think that's one of the guys on your list.
Yeah, I just don't like him. But I thought he played a solid game yesterday. There's definitely moments where I'm like, you just got to make that shot because he's getting wide open threes, like butt naked open.
But like you said, though, butt ass open. That's what Ty's trying to get them to do.
Yeah, it is. And hey, you live and die with that. And I think that's fine, especially at home. But on the road, these guys are going to hit more shots. It's just going to happen. Like they still didn't like shoot. I mean, they shot 42% from three. So like really good percentage and they got hot. They just couldn't get inside. And I think that was the biggest issue. So for the Mavs going forward, I think we're going to see more consistent play and higher percentages from Luka and Kyrie going forward because I just can't see that this sub 50% shooting continue for these guys. Like Luka 14 threes is to me is too many. It's just too many threes. You should be attacking the paint because Zubac's not a shot blocker and they don't really have anyone. Like I guess he's a little bit, but not as much as some of the other guys. Like I think Derek Lively. Yeah, he's just in the right space at the right time. So in order for the Mavs, to me, I just think that Luka and Kyrie have to be more attack-minded downhill, and that'll just open everything else up. And they were in this game, which I thought created them winning, basically.
Kyrie was slashing. He was great. He didn't stuff the sheet necessarily, but he's again making the right steps. And they're each due for a game this series.
Yeah.
And neither of these two games were it. So you'd have to imagine that they win both of those games. And I don't know if, for me, like Paul George is in that category or Kawhi's even in that category where like they're going to get 40 one of these nights. And Harden already had his game. His game was game one. Mm-hmm. So like just off of basic like that, it's tipping me Mavs. I was tipped Mavs anyway before the series started. I just feel like when they get downhill and they start moving the ball and they start throwing those dump lobs, like they're really hard to beat. And that's why we were so high on them towards the end of the regular season. So they just got to keep playing the way that they play. Like they can't get away from that.
Yeah, no. As long as the Mavs do play how they play, I don't see them losing this series. And I don't think the Clippers are more talented. They have the bigger names, but they're not more talented to me. And I mean, Kawhi just didn't look like Kawhi. Especially in the first half. He looked very rough in the first half. Second half, a little bit better, and I expect with an extra day of rest, he'll get back. I don't like him playing in this game, to be honest, personally.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, I thought that since they won game one, you gave a chance for him to kind of take a day or two and wait it out and get fully healthy. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen because knee inflammation isn't the thing that just kind of goes away. It like just kind of lingers for a while until you just completely rest. So I don't know. I just think that they shouldn't have rushed him back as fast as they did. But I mean, credit to him for playing. I think he'll only get better and better, and that'll make this series more and more competitive. But any other final?
He wasn't even that good defensively yesterday.
No. And one last thing. I can't believe I waited this long to mention this. Luka Doncic on defense was unbelievable. This is take a guess what the Clippers shot. I'll tell you they had 17 shots against Luka as the primary defender in this game. Guess what they shot?
6, 7.
2 of 17 with Luka as the primary defender yesterday.
Really?
Yep. That is also one of the biggest keys in this game. Luka being that locked in and engaged defensively is so massive for the Mavericks because you can't matchup hunt him now. You have to go somewhere else, and by doing that, you let Luka save his energy for offense, and that's what he's best at. He's not the best defender in the world, but when he's engaged like that, he's been great. I said during the regular season he was top 10 in opponent field goal percentage when being isolated against. We just saw 2 of 17. I don't even know. That's like what, 8%? 9%? I don't know. It's low. I'll tell you that. But yeah, so I just thought Luka was really good on defense, and the offense is going to come. It's just going to. So
next game, my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think next game is a big Luka game. But like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.